This is Adam Gorney with the Rival Signing Day coverage continuing here with Clemson coach Dabo Swinney. And nice to talk to you every year because it's usually drama-free. It's everybody's wrapped up, everything's ready to go. It's not so crazy for you with this time of year, huh?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. That's why I've always said, we could move the high school signing date up, if we wanted to, because these kids, most of them all know what they want to do, and so it's been good. Another great class. It's fun. This is a day that I'm leaving this, and I'm heading over to our graduate bruncheon because we have a bunch of guys graduating tomorrow, and we have a big brunch luncheon today. And but yet you're also doing signing day and celebrating a bunch of new Tigers coming in. So it's a great day for us.
I want to hit on some specific guys. Sammy Brown, sort of the leader of this class, just kind of one of your guys. What makes him so special on and off the field? And I do have to ask, do you think he's Brian Bosworth 2.0?
No, I think he's Sammy Brown 1.0. I mean, he's a dude, man. He is. I mean, you watch his tape. I mean, first of all, the guy is relentless. Great mom and dad, very competitive family. His dad was a college athlete. His mom was a cheerleader. All of his family are competitive. His dad, is a coach. So this is a really competitive kid from birth. But he's just unique, man. He's big, he's strong, and he can fly. I mean, this guy can – you don't see many people that can run like him at that size. And he's a state lifting champ. He's a state wrestling champ. He's a linebacker all over the field, and he's a running back, rushing for millions of yards. So he's just a kid that never comes off the field, and kind of an old school player, but dynamic, man. I mean, he's, don't get distracted by the hair. He's kind of like Trevor Lawrence in that regard, and that I would say he looks like Hollywood, but man, he's just a low maintenance dude, just the way Trevor was, that knows what he wants to do and has the work ethic to match up with what he wants to do.
Don't forget elite fisherman too. He could really fish too. Bryant Wesco plays like the receivers that you've recruited over the years. Big, long, athletic, can go up and get it. Touchdown machine this year. What do you like about Wesco, and how important was it to keep him in this class?
Yeah, all those things you mentioned. I mean, he's certainly one of the top, few guys in the country, and he just brings that big play ability. I mean, he's a ball hawk. One of the things I like about him, an underrated part of his game, is he can really run with the ball, after the catch, and he's still not what he's going to be from a strength standpoint, but he still has good collision balance. He's a finisher on the ball. He's got a ton of confidence. Natural ball skills. It's just not something he even thinks about. It's just natural for him. So he's got a lot of great football. So he's done some amazing things in high school, but this kid is his best football is in front of him. And so I love the fact that we get a chance to have him as a freshman and watch him just, physically and mentally, mature and blossom into, what I think can be a great, great player.
Defensive back you loaded up with. Was it an idea to do that the entire time? Did some changes happen that you had to get some late? How did that kind of play out for you?
Yeah, well, Tavoy, Corey Gibson, and Ashton Hampton pretty much been committed all year at corner. And Ashton's got a bunch of position, versatility on what he can do. Really good group. And then safeties, we've had Noah Dixon and we've had Ricardo Jones, two just great players. They've been committed all year. We weren't anticipating taking one more safety, but we ended up taking a kid, Joe Wilkinson, late because we had a kid leave. So we had a spot, and we just kind of took who we thought was the best player. And we really, really liked, the group to go on top of the guys that we had last year. So we're going to have, a lot of competition, a lot of good depth, a lot of speed and athleticism on the back end.
The next question could be a long conversation, and I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts. But philosophically, portal for you. I mean, it's not something that you're completely, totally against, but how do you kind of use it? Do you think some schools are using it far too much, far too little? Where are you at with that and its sort of transcendence into the reality of the sport here?
Yeah, that's a long conversation for sure, but I don't judge anybody else because everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here, I'm going on my 16th year as the head coach. So we just haven't had many guys leave. We haven't had many guys. We've been able to still recruit, we think, the best high school players in the country. And so it just varies from year to year. I mean, we've used the portal, and honestly, we really went after about 4 or 5 guys this year in the offensive line. That was really the only position that we felt like, that was an area that we maybe – and we really weren't looking for a guy with 1 year. We have 7 starters back in the offensive line. So we were looking for guys that maybe had, maybe 3 years left or 3 to play 2, whatever. And you don't just – it's not like the draft where you just get to say, okay, boom, like, go down to Walmart and just, boom, grab something and go home. They got to want you, right? So I don't have any issues with it. I know everybody likes to act like I do, but we don't. We just haven't. We haven't had a need. We got 10 scholarship receivers. We love all those guys. Do you take a portal guy or do you take Wesco or TJ Moore?
Yeah.
We wanted Wesco and TJ Moore. If we hadn't got those 2 guys, then maybe we're having a conversation. And if we hadn't seen what we've seen on our practice field from the guys on our roster, it's different. Got 7 starters back in the OL. We weren't looking for a guy, because these guys in the portal, they want to come be the guy. And all I can do is give you an opportunity to compete, and then linebacker was another. Had Barrett Carter not come back, we probably would have tried to take an older kid there. But Barrett Carter coming back, we didn't need that. So we took a 3rd high school kid. So that was kind of the decision there. And that's really the only positions, OL and linebacker, that we even considered it for this class. Before the season, we talked about maybe a DN, a 1 year older DN, but have the season played out and what we saw from TJ Parker and AJ Hoffler and what Peter Woods can be, because we can play Peter Woods at DN. So who are you gonna go get in the portal that's gonna come beat Peter Woods out, right? And you're not going to guarantee somebody come in here to be the guy. So there's just, that's just the reality of our situation. Doesn't mean we're against it. And I certainly don't judge other people, because if I was somewhere else, if I left today and went to another school, guess what? A bunch of guys would leave, right? And you have no choice. But we just have used it as we've needed and tried to use it a little bit more in a couple of spots, but we haven't been able to get any of those guys.
Last thing, and real quick, Dabo, no quarterback this year. Some coaches like taking one every year. Some have their own variety of ways. Do you see 2 in 25? Do you want 1? How does that kind of look moving forward?
Yeah, well, Klubnik's, it's really kind of going according to what we decided to do. If Paul Tyson wasn't coming back, we would have taken another guy for sure. But Paul Tyson kind of gives us a little bit of just insurance because we just need him to be a 4th guy. He's going to be a 6th-year guy. He knows everything in our system. He wants to coach. So you get to a 4th guy, it's probably not good anyway. Most teams, if you got 2, you're really, really lucky. And we think we got 3. So we feel really good. Obviously, Klubnik's going to be a junior. Our plan was that was part of the recruiting process with Chris Vizina. This is a high-level recruit, turned down a ton of opportunities all across the country to come to Clemson. And the plan was, he was only 17, to redshirt him.
Yeah.
And now you got a redshirt junior and then you got a redshirt freshman. So it's a good path for him. And now let's go compete. And so we're really excited about CV and what his potential is. And I'm really excited about the spring. And then we got a kid named Trent Pierman, who was back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of South Carolina, back-to-back state championship, didn't lose a single game as a starter. And this kid, developmental player, redshirt freshman, be a redshirt sophomore next year. All the things that you love about him that made him a good player, those things have accentuated now because he's equipped himself more. So we like the 3 that we have, and then Paul gives us a 4th. If we can find maybe a good PWO to add in the group, that would be great. But, we'll see. Anything can happen between now and May, right?
Definitely. That is Clemson coach Dabo Swinney. Dabo, thanks so much again for joining us.
Okay, always good to be with you. Take care.
Okay.